As we all know, before getting a pet, we should always research. And part of that research is looking at the cons of the animal that you might want to get. So in today's video, I want to present to you the potential pitfalls of owning rats. Number one is obviously short lifespans. Rats on average live for about 2 to 3 years, and of course I understand that for some people that might be a pro because maybe they're looking for an animal that only lasts during a certain time frame, but for most people it's generally a bad thing when the animal doesn't live as long. That short lifespan is also due to the fact that rats get sick very often. They are extremely susceptible to upper respiratory infections, tumors, liver failure with old age, etc. Because of those sicknesses, you will often have to take your rats to the vet. And then also considering the fact that most rat cages cost quite a lot, you can see that rats really aren't a cheap animal. One of the things that annoy me the most is pee. Pee everywhere. Now, of course, I have 2 boys, and boys often pee more than girls, but I've heard from owners that also have girls that they can be just as bad. Because of the fact that they pee so much, the cage has to be cleaned very often. Of course, it depends on how many rats you have, but for example, I have to do it every 2 weeks. And even if I clean out the cage thoroughly, it will always smell like pee. But the good news is that there are some remedies against that smell. Another thing that you have to consider is the fact that rats are crepuscular. That means that they are more active at dawn and at night. The fact that they are crepuscular often becomes a problem when new rat owners learn that rats need at least 1 hour of free roam a day. But if you aren't able to supervise them at those hours, then maybe you should consider getting a different pet. Now this next point might look like it would be a pro, which it definitely can be, but sometimes it can get quite annoying. And that is the fact that rats are very intelligent. The great thing about that is that you can teach them tricks, and they will often become more bonded to you than an animal that is less intelligent. But the problem starts when you don't give your rats something to stimulate their brains. That's when they can become destructive. One example of this is that I have a bucket full of coconut soil in their free roam, and once I forgot to fill it up, and the next day I saw that the rim of the plastic bucket was chewed on. I also always have to remember to put in foraging and chew toys so they don't chew up the whole room like they did with the bucket. Something that I have personally experienced is that not all rats are going to be cuddly. I specifically got boys because I wanted to have an intelligent pet that was pocket-sized, but that I also could cuddle. But that's sadly not often the truth, especially when you get your rats from a pet store. Yes, I made the mistake to get them from a pet store. I really regret that because I'm sure that's also part of the reason why my rats aren't so cuddly. But the good news is that I've heard that most rats do get cuddlier with age. But it's quite sad to be able to finally pet them and have some quality time when they are close to dying. This point is extremely important, and it's the fact that rats are social animals. Now, for some people, again, that might not be a con. For example, I absolutely love having more animals. The only downside that I see with the fact that rats are social animals is that there can be problems in the group. Even though rats do fight just to play around, sometimes it can be hormonal aggression, which has to be solved by neutering the males, or in some cases spaying the females, which then adds to the vet bills. To conclude all of this, as you can see, rats really aren't a low-maintenance animal. They require a lot of care, time, and money. Remember that once you bring the animal home, it's relying on you. So you have to make sure that it's eating well, that it's healthy, and that it's happy. So if this video has made you realize that rats really aren't the right fit for you, but you're still a huge animal lover, don't worry, there are a lot of different animals out there with other care needs that might fit you better. That was the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!